1/6/2025. We're in the book of Proverbs, now moving on to chapter 28 in this episode of Stand Tall. The wicked man flees, although no one pursues him, but the just man, like a lion, feels sure of himself. If a land is rebellious, its princes will be many, but with a prudent man it knows security. So a land of rebellion, like there's going to be many people who are like, oh, I'm the prince of this land. A rich man who oppresses the poor is like a devastating rain that leaves no food. There's a lot of those. Those who abandon the law praise the wicked man, but those who keep the law war against him. Evil men understand nothing of justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. That's why it's good to always seek the Lord, right? In all that we do, in order to understand what is true justice, so that number one, we can fight for it, and number two, we can make sure that we ourselves are protecting what is just and right. Better a poor man who walks in his integrity than he who is crooked in his ways and rich. That's the third time we've heard this in Proverbs. Verse 7, he who keeps the law is a wise son, but the glutton's companion disgraces his father. He who increases his wealth by interest and overcharge gathers it for him who is kind to the poor. When one turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Interesting. So you got to be lawful and follow the rules of the land in order for your prayer to be heard. He who seduces the upright into an evil way will himself fall into his own pit, and blameless men will gain prosperity. So we'll say that again because it's kind of roundabout. He who seduces the upright into an evil way will himself fall into his own pit. So if you, like Satan, trick somebody into doing wrong, that's not so good for you. And the blameless men will gain prosperity. And so those men who you tricked are going to have and be prosperous because they were tricked. You tricked them and seduced them. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, but a poor man who is intelligent sees through him, right? Because we know that wisdom is the true wealth. But a rich man who has a lot, he thinks he's so smart and so intelligent and so this and so that. But we all see through that person because riches don't make us happy or prosperous. It's the real things that matter: family, quality time, and those sorts of things that matter to the true people, to the real people, right? To the real, to the non-NPCs of the world, right? When the just are triumphant, there's great jubilation. But when the wicked gain preeminence, people hide. He who conceals his sins prospers not, but he who confesses and forsakes them obtains mercy. Happy the man who is always on his guard, but he who hardens his heart will fall into evil. So be on your guard, but don't harden your heart. And it's tough to do because there's so much about this world that makes you want to harden your heart and not be a good person because bad things always seem to happen, like over and over and over again. But that saying, like when he says, like a lamb I send you out into the world, but be wise as serpents. Like, do not be so hardened in your heart that you turn away others who need your help.